welcome to our very first Josephine stories. Isn't that exciting? Now today we're going to be reading Zinny's Zoo Adventures. I know, sounds pretty cool, right? Now I hope you're all sitting nice and comfortably and you're ready to listen. Are you ready? You are? Fantastic. Okay, here we go then. Anyone knows, if you go to the zoo in the south of the city, you'll be sure to be greeted by the stripy, smiley and sweet zebra, Zinny. Zinny is 17 years old and he's been at the zoo for years. He really enjoys life here and most importantly, educating people on zebras and what we can do to protect them from poachers in the wild. Although he does really like it, he often feels very homesick and he misses his family. But he doesn't let that stop him from greeting guests in the best way he knows how. Hello, welcome to the zoo. I'm Zinny and I'm from the treeless grasslands of South Africa. If you've got any questions about zebras, I'm your guy. Have a great day. Oh, hello there. Welcome to the zoo. It's going to be another fantastic day here. If you've got any questions about zebras or the zoo, just come and ask. Zinny is a very confident and likeable zebra who always keeps his appearance very smart. He has a smooth coat and the longest eyelashes you've ever seen. He walks with a slight spring in his step and he is always smiling. But there's one thing that brings Zinny great fear: flying in an aeroplane. He'd flown 5,953 miles all the way over from Africa. He was very excited to make the journey, but flying was nothing like what he'd expected and Zinny disliked the whole experience. After writing many letters home, one sunny and very busy half-term day at the zoo, Zinny headed to his usual spot at the front gates of the zoo, greeting customers new and old, when suddenly a very tall woman with spectacles and a young girl approached him. "Good afternoon," said the tall woman as she approached. "Hello, Zinny. I'm Rachel, and this is my daughter Delilah. We've heard so much about you and this wonderful zoo, haven't we, Delilah?" "Yes, we have," said Delilah. "I'm very pleased to meet you." "It's great to meet you both too," said Zinny with a big grin on his face. "Would you like a tour of the zoo?" "Oh, yes, please," said Delilah. "I've been learning about zoo animals at school and I'd love to ask you some questions for my homework too, please." Zinny took Rachel and Delilah all around the zoo, telling them about each animal and what they need to survive. He also told them about what life was like for him back home living in South Africa and how sometimes they had to find new spaces of ground to call home as farmers would take their land for farming. And this can cause zebras a lot of stress and upset because they try and keep away from humans that might harm them. Delilah didn't understand this. "But why do some humans try and hurt zebras, Zinny?" said Delilah. "I just don't understand it." "Well," said Zinny, then taking a deep breath, "because some humans like to use our skin for clothing. Others use our meat for cooking, as in some religions it is believed to cure illness." Delilah had lots of questions, and Zinny happily answered them all. Zinny also spoke to Rachel about her job as a pilot, flying planes all around the world. He told Rachel that he'd love to go home, but he was too scared of flying. That afternoon, the three new friends made a deal. If Zinny taught them all he knew about animals, then Rachel would teach him all she knew about how safe flying was. The new group of friends met up once a week from then on. Delilah learnt about cutting down on plastics from the turtles who told her stories of getting caught up in rubbish in the ocean. She learned that we should use metal or bamboo straws instead of plastic ones. And she learnt about swapping meat for vegetables as often as she can from the wise giraffe who told her of the cows producing methane. She learnt that we should try and catch the bus to school, walk or share a ride instead of going in a single car to cut down on pollution. And lastly, she learnt of how her mother's job was one of which had great demand behind it, because people always want to explore the world, and some people have to travel the world for their job. But flying in an aeroplane isn't very good for the environment. And so Delilah promised to do what was within her reach to help. Rachel told Zinny many stories of her wonderful adventures flying, of how flying can seem a bit scary, but it's one of the safest forms of transport. And should an aircraft's engines ever fail, it can glide down to the ground just like a bird can. As a pilot, I have to do my training every 6 months, said Rachel. I have to go into pretend emergency situations and practice what I would do, so if an emergency happens in the air, I'm fully prepared. And before I start each journey, I have a special checklist to make sure that everything is safe and ready to go. Everyone on board is first aid trained and fire safety trained, said Rachel. All of our staff work as a team, just like you and Delilah do. We have so many things on board to keep our passengers safe. We have medicine, and if we need to land on water, we can put our slides out, which then turn into rafts, and we get our passengers off within minutes. Flying is very safe, Zinny, and it's also very fun. Hello, Zinny, said Delilah chirpily as she made her way to their usual spot, one crisp afternoon. The pair sat happily together and waited for Rachel's arrival. They talked of all they'd learnt, and they felt filled with gratitude, and of course some yummy treats. Hello, you two, said Rachel. Sorry I'm a little later today, but I've been planning a surprise for you both. As Zinny feels much better about flying after learning how safe it is, and Delilah, I know you'd like to learn much more about different areas of the world, well, I've planned for us all to fly to South Africa to visit Zinny's family and friends. Zinny could not believe his ears. He was so excited that he was getting to see his family and his friends again, and take his cool new friends to meet them all. He couldn't thank Rachel enough for her kindness. Some weeks later, the 3 new friends set off on their long, exciting adventure. Zinny enjoyed the flight and actually looked out of the window. Delilah loved meeting all of Zinny's friends and family and hearing about their life in the wild. And Rachel, she loved spending time with her thoughtful daughter and her cool new friend.